off section of a tree trunk was being used as a side table. He saw an enormous ceramic ashtray filled with cigarette butts and a garbage can overflowing with beer cans and crushed cigarette packs and boxes from microwave meals. On the floor behind the chair, a damp cardboard box had split its seams and let slide an avalanche of magazines. Nearly nude women stared up from the covers. Jesse picked up one closest to his foot, a moldy penthouse from August 1981, more than 20 years before he was born. He circled behind the shelves, past a wall-mounted sink and an open toilet in one corner. The other corner of the basement was built out into a small room with a metal door. It could have been for storage, but his gut told him it was something else. Jesse shivered at the threshold, his skin clammy and prickling with a million hairs. He made a sideways fist around the door's sliding bolt and pulled it backward, stepping out of the way as the heavy door swung open on silent hinges. He thumbed the penlight again. He wasn't sure, but he thought the walls were painted pink. The color had peeled away in places, leaving discolored spots that looked like scabs. He saw a thin mattress covered in dark stains on a metal frame. A heavy chain hung limply through a steel ring bolted on the wall at the head of the bed. Nothing about the scene in front of him made sense. He wasn't sure what he was looking at, but he knew the last thing he'd ever want was to be left alone in this room, in the dark, with the door shut. He blindly reached for the inside door handle to pull it shut again, and found there wasn't one. He shined the penlight on it just to make sure. This was a prison cell of some kind, a cage. How else to explain a door with no handle, no way to get out from the inside? He shined the weak penlight across the blistered pink walls again. He felt like he was staring into the mouth of something that wanted to swallow him. When he killed the light, the darkness inside seemed to go down and down to a place that had never known the sun. Behind him, the furnace made a loud ticking sound, then whoomp to life. Jesse turned away and shook off the bad thoughts. He stuck the light in his pocket and headed for the stairs that went up to the main floor. At the bottom, he stared at the closed door above him. He'd been told the old man would be drunk at least, passed out if Jesse was lucky. He labored up the first 3 steps, pausing on each one to talk himself out of turning around and making a run for it. He turned one last time toward the dark room in the corner and thought about the stained mattress and the door with no handle. Someone stepped on the broken glass by the basement door. Jesse crouched and froze like a rabbit with no cover. The refrigerator door was still open, spilling light into the room. Behind it, he saw a dark silhouette through the window in the basement door. The shape paused, with one foot on the broken glass, then took another step into the room. Jenny. "What the fuck are you doing here?" Jesse hissed. He took out the penlight and flashed it at her so she could see where he was standing against the wall on the stairs. "I got worried," she whispered. Jenny was much less wet than Jesse was, thanks to the oversized leather jacket with sleeves that went down past her fingertips and made her look like she had no shoulders. In the dark, he couldn't see her freckles, or her green eyes, or the eye tooth with the twist to it, the imperfection that made every one of her smiles perfect. "Where's the car?" "I moved it a little closer. I have the keys." She came over and stood by his side at the bottom of the stairs. They both looked up at the door overhead. "We shouldn't be here," she said. "I don't have any choice. He's threatening my family." "We can figure out something else." "No, we can't. He doesn't want money. It's this or something bad happens to my sister." "Jesse, come on. He's messing with you. If you go back and say—" The floor creaked over their heads. They stared at each other wide-eyed, frozen. 1 second passed. Another. There was only the sound of the furnace blower and the drum of the rain, coming down hard again at the open basement door. Jenny put a hand on Jesse's arm and eased him a step backward. The door at the top of the stairs crashed inward with enough force that it hit the wall and tried to bang shut again. The double-barreled shotgun leveled down at them.